4 of the Inland Podcast. My name is Attorney Alexander Napolin. I'm joined by my co-host, Attorney George Abuado. And on this episode, we're going to let you know how much it costs to hire an attorney for workers' compensation. So if you've been injured at work and you're looking for a lawyer, you might be wondering, how much is it going to cost me? Well, that's what you're going to learn. In this episode, you're going to find out it's very affordable. George, what's the fee that attorneys charge for workers' compensation claims generally?
So for workers' compensation claims, we do have an answer. For other types of law, people might be thinking, hey, an attorney's an attorney, right? And I'm just going to preface this by saying that I always tell my clients, you don't want an attorney, and we've said this before, right? You don't want an attorney that does every type of law. So an attorney, if you go for them for, let's say, to write up a contract for you, they might charge you per the hour, or they might charge you what's called a flat fee for the contract that you're asking for, right? If they have to do a lot of research and maybe rewrites or things like that, they might charge you for that additional time. But that type of attorney will charge you what's called a flat fee, tell you, hey, it's going to cost you this much for me to do this, or an hourly rate. I will charge you this much per hour, and we'll see how many hours it takes me. They can give you an estimation of the hours. Now, workers' compensation is very different. It works on a contingency basis. Okay, that might be a word that our viewers and clients might not be familiar with, but contingency basis is everything you hear on the radio. You might know it by a different term. If we don't win, you don't pay, right? So it's contingent upon you getting money for your suit, claim, whatever you're doing with your attorney. So for a auto injury, let's say, usually the fee begins at 33.33% of whatever they can get for you. It might go up if there needs to be a trial, and there's expenses that need to be paid with that, right? Postage, certain filing fees, things like that come out of your pocket. With workers' compensation, it's very different. Workers' compensation, it's a different type of law because you don't go in a certain type of court. You go into the Workers' Compensation Appeal Board, and that is managed by the state. And it's a special type of law that it's a very niche law. And we only charge 15% usually. That's a standard rate, right? So once again, it's on a contingency basis. So if we don't obtain any money for you, if we don't get what you deserve and things like that, if we don't at the end obtain any money for you, you don't pay for anything. And this includes any benefit you receive. So any doctor's appointments, any X-rays, MRIs, any type of objective testing, anything, any operations, you don't pay for anything. You don't even pay for your attorney if we don't get anything. But you still get to keep all that medical treatment that's already been done, right? Now, if we do obtain something for you, the attorney fees are 15%. And the nice part about workers' comp, Alex, and you know this, is that they don't, the client doesn't pay us. The insurance company pays us, and then they pay the client the remaining portion. And one thing that I'm just going to throw in there is a lot of people have questions. It's tax-free. Whatever we're able to get for you, you pay no taxes on. So that's pretty nice, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I said a whole lot there.
That was a great explanation. I'm just going to give you the golden star for the best explanation on attorney's fees, because you really covered it all. You know, if you're out there, you want to hire a lawyer, as George explained, you can pay them by the hour. You can pay them by the flat fee. It can cost you quite a bit of money. That's not the way workers' compensation lawyers work. We make a contingency fee. It's generally 15% of whatever's collected at the end of the case. Now, there are specifics, some nuances to that. If your lawyer goes to court and obtains an award for temporary disability benefits, if they haven't been paying them and the claim's not over yet, your attorney could be awarded an attorney fee on those benefits plus the penalties. So there are some specific situations that maybe it's not the end of the claim when you're paying attorney's fees, but as George mentioned, you're never paying them out of your pocket.
Right.
You're never writing a check. So it's a contingency fee arrangement, and you only pay if your lawyer is collecting money for you.
Right.
Now, it's also more affordable, as George mentioned. It's more affordable than a personal injury case where lawyers generally charge 33 1/3.
At least.
That's for settling your claim without any litigation at all, without ever filing anything in court. Then most lawyers charge 40% if they have to file your matter in court. Now, remember, a workers' compensation lawyer is filing your matter in court for 15%.
And nothing extra.
No costs are added on to that generally. There are maybe rare circumstances where costs could come, but that's very rare.
Right.
And on the vast majority of cases, I would say on 99% of files, there are no costs.
Yeah, and I also want to point out, Alex, that it doesn't matter which attorney you choose as far as fees go. You're going to pay the same. There is a negotiation process you can engage with whatever attorney you want. They are you're supposed to be able to negotiate your fees, and you're supposed to be able to come and say, hey, I don't want to pay this much. What if I pay you this much? Now, I will say that it's just not done. Yeah, although that should be a process, or it's a process that's allowed and that should happen. Most attorneys will tell you, this is our fee. Yeah, you can ask for a lower fee, but we might not take you on as a client. Right. So generally speaking, 15%, and it's already low enough, right? It's not the 33 point and a third. So it's less than half of what attorneys charge for a personal injury claim. So that's probably not going to go down. You're probably going to get charged the 15% for whatever money they get you. Now, I do want to point out once again, doesn't matter the experience of the attorney, doesn't matter how big the law firm is, doesn't matter the reputation, it's 15%. So I would advise whoever's watching this to really do your research. Pick the attorney that you think will do the best job for you, because it's not going to cost you any more than an attorney that maybe just started out last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only thing that's going to cost you is choosing the wrong lawyer.
Yeah. And, like I said, you can negotiate or try to do that. But if you really pick the right lawyer, you're going to be in good hands, because I always say, Alex, good work ain't cheap, and cheap work ain't good. So even if you're able to negotiate an attorney down to 5% fees, and maybe it's because they believe they're worth 5%. But honestly, I just do 15% for all my clients. And, if they want to negotiate, we can try that. But, if we don't come to an agreement, then they can find an attorney who might do it for less. But 15%, generally speaking, is the standard norm.
That's what the judges at the local workers' compensation board here in Pomona, in San Bernardino, are awarding in Riverside. This is what the judges are awarding, 15%. Maybe it's possible a judge could award less than 15% to an applicant attorney under certain circumstances. I don't know those circumstances. You could just kind of think of scenarios maybe where the lawyer is no good and doesn't do anything and doesn't show up and didn't do a thing for the injured worker, and the injured worker shows up to their own MSC and the lawyer's not there.
Right.
And it may be that injured worker somehow settles their case, and it may be that the lawyer doesn't make the fee. But outside of those outstanding circumstances, those rare circumstances, the fee is going to be 15%.
Yeah. And once again, before we finish this part of our talk today, I do want to get into a question that I get asked a lot, Alex. What if, I already had an attorney. I've had him for maybe 2-3 months, but I've spoken to you, Mr. Boato, and I want to hire you as my attorney. How much extra am I going to have to pay at the end of my claim if I fire my attorney now, and I get you as my attorney? Now I've had 2 attorneys. Am I going to have to pay extra? How much extra? Am I going to have to pay the previous attorney? How does that work, Alex?
Yeah, so when you hire another lawyer, if you've already had one, the court's going to split those fees up in between your current lawyer and your old lawyer. Whoever's settling the case is going to have to pay some of those fees to the prior attorney. So it does not increase the amount of fees that the client pays.
Right.
It's just the lawyers have to work out the 15% amongst themselves. And that is a question that a lot of people have.
A lot of people, they just don't understand that. So I guess what I really want to make clear for our viewers out there, Alex, is that 15% after the end of your claim is what are going to be attorney fees. I will not say never, but they should never increase. No matter if you had 100 attorneys working on your claim, no matter if you switch attorneys 50 times, whatever the case is, 15% is for the attorney fees that gets divided between the attorneys that worked on your claim. 85% of the settlement amount goes in your pocket with no taxes taken out, and you don't have to pay taxes on that.
And the workers' compensation carrier has to agree to take care of all the doctor's bills and liens.
Right. Correct.
So there's no additional money after. There could be if there's overpayments, and we've discussed that on other episodes of the Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer live stream podcast. Remember, it's not legal advice. If you need legal advice, dial our injury helpline, dial 844-984-8414, and we'll give you a free consultation.
No matter what, you just pay the 15%. So how affordable is getting an attorney for your workers' comp claim? Very. You don't pay anything out of your pocket the whole claim through. And even at the end, you don't pay out of your pocket. The insurance company pays the attorney fees out of the settlement amount, and you get 85% of those of the settlement with no taxes taken out. So technically, what do you pay out of your pocket? Really nothing. It's just a chunk of the money that the attorney is able to get for you at the end.
And in addition to that, when you file a workers' compensation claim, there's no filing fee.
Right.
So the state of California has made it very affordable for injured workers to get lawyers and file workers' compensation claims for work injuries that they have. So unlike a civil claim or a matter in civil court, like a personal injury case, an auto accident case, there's a filing fee. And that filing fee is at least $435. I think it's going up in certain jurisdictions. And you also have to pay costs of filing. That stuff doesn't come out of your settlement at the end like it does in a personal injury case. So if you're out there and you're concerned that you have to pay attorney's fees and costs, you should really consider that's very affordable.
Yeah.
And I have had clients ask for reductions in the attorney fee. If it's a hardship situation, it's the very end. I'm not saying I'm giving that to anyone or guaranteeing it. It's on a case-by-case basis. Maybe I would reduce my fee. But as a matter of operating our practices, I think that as workers' compensation lawyers here in the Inland Empire, we do need that 15% to adequately fight these insurance companies who pay their lawyers by the hour. So before you go negotiating that, and I think you made this point, before you go negotiating that fee with your lawyer, consider what kind of work you're going to need that lawyer to put in and who you're hiring.
Correct. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right?
We're putting this episode up, and I think, George, you've really done a lot of good explaining that. It's going to help a lot of people understand this this idea of paying your lawyer and getting a good attorney.
Yeah. And in this video, actually, I'll give a little bit of a snippet of about a video we're going to do on depositions. Just kind of letting people know there's a lot of questions on depositions, Alex, and just letting them know what a deposition is, just a couple of tidbits about them, because I like to prep my clients really well. But tying into this video, depositions are something that the insurance company uses to get a discovery done to see how they can attack your claim. Well, you need to be well represented during your deposition. And even in your deposition, the attorney that's representing you, which should be the attorney that's handling your claim, gets paid by the insurance company to represent you at your own deposition. So that's an additional benefit. And just so you understand, not even that comes out of your pocket. Not even the money for the deposition where the attorney's representing you and making sure everything goes well. Not even that you have to pay. The insurance company takes care of paying that for you as well. So workers' compensation law is really, really geared towards the injured worker, it would seem, right, Alex?
It is, because when they have to take your deposition, the insurance company will generally take your deposition if you file one of these claims. So if you're out there and you're wondering what's going to happen once I get a lawyer and file one of these cases, you're probably not going to go right to see a judge. They're going to, the insurance company is going to hire a lawyer. That lawyer is going to have you come to their office or maybe do a Zoom where they're going to ask you questions, and you're going to give answers. And in a civil proceeding, your lawyer will have to pay the court reporter who types up the deposition transcript, all the questions and all of the answers that you're asked during your deposition. You have to pay for that. Your lawyer has to pay for that in a civil proceeding. And those transcripts can be thousands of dollars. Yeah. In a workers' compensation case, the insurance company has to pay and has to provide your lawyer with one of those transcripts. Right. So, I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of savings. It's also a 15% attorney fee. Having a lawyer is extremely affordable. And like I said, the only problem that you're going to have and the only way you're going to lose money is you're not going to choose the right one. Right.
Well, there's something we haven't spoken about, and the most unaffordable thing you could do is not get an attorney, because we've discussed this in our videos before, but the difference in the amount of money you're going to collect at the end, that money, that increase in money by having an attorney should even take care of your attorney fees and get you extra money than you would have gotten by doing it on your own. So I think the most fiscally irresponsible thing you could do is not get an attorney.
Let's increase the size of the pie, not increase your slice of the pie. I think we'll conclude this episode. This is episode number 44 of the Inland Empire Workers' Compensation Lawyer live stream podcast. Thank you for watching. Remember, it's not legal advice. If you need legal advice, dial the injury helpline. It's 844-984-8414. And if you have a workers' compensation or injury or other injury issue, either George and I will come to the phone, give you a free consultation, help you out, make the right decision.